All right, guys, so we've had news through recently, devastating news, if you ask me, as an Australian, that we've lost Phillip Island from the calendar yet again. Genuinely think this is probably not the only Asia Pacific region race we're going to lose. And obviously they're trying to organise replacements and things like that. And it got me thinking, where would I go? So what I've decided to do is put together my ultimate dream 2022 calendar. Where would I take MotoGP? Now, a few things before we get into it are that I've obviously tried to keep it as realistic as possible in terms of what would qualify as a grade A circuit or whatever for MotoGP. I couldn't find that information, by the way. If anyone can find that, let me know. I mean, the F1 list is just on Wikipedia, grade A circuits. The MotoGP one, I tried. But I mean, if you know how to find, maybe it's easy to find, I don't know. But on that, I've picked mainly circuits that are either I know would be fine or that would only take some small modifications to turn them into MotoGP circuits. Obviously, it's not completely realistic from that aspect, but that's what I've had to do. Try to keep it as realistic as I can logistically, so I'm not sort of throwing triple headers together that are like Australia, Assen, and then South America, right? And the other thing, guys, I had a little rule that I didn't want to have more than one race per country, and that's made for some really difficult cuts, but that's what we've gone with. We've gone for a full world championships, a proper international calendar. All right. And other than that, they're just guidelines, guys. I don't have any really strict rules with this. I've put together what I think is best guidelines, because if I said there were rules, I'd probably break them later on, and then you'd be like, Rob, you made a rule, and I'd be like, oh, sorry, I forgot about my rule, I just wanted to get that circuit in. Anyway, I've settled on a 19 race calendar. I'm not a big fan of these, like, where it looks like we're going 22, 23, 24, 25 race calendars that run from February to December. I'm not into that. I'm a less is more kind of guy. And for me, 19 was pushing it. I just couldn't leave some circuits off. So I just settled at 19. But ideally, I was probably going to go, my initial plan was to go for 18. And that's basically all you need to know, because we're about to get into it. I have left Qatar out. You rarely see decent crowds there. And for me, MotoGP and all motorsport is for the crowds on the day. That's the best experience. I want people at my race. And I think the places I've picked are very high chance of getting big crowds. So that's what I've gone with. That means we're starting my ultimate MotoGP 2022 calendar in Japan, the country that's won every constructor title and delivered every world title to a rider since 1970 odd or whatever. It's at Suzuka. We're not going to Motegi. I like Motegi. It's a nice circuit. I think it's good, but it's no Suzuka. And of the two circuits I probably would have picked for this race, it was Suzuka or Fuji, and I really like Fuji with the mountain there, and it's really nice, a really nice part of the world. But Suzuka is like, has the history with MotoGP a bit more, and I've decided to settle on Suzuka. That's running from March the 11th, the Friday. The race is going to be on March the 13th, the Sunday. And then after Suzuka, we're going to take a break, 1 week break. We're having a week off, and we're heading to Istanbul Park in Turkey. I don't think it's a stretch to say that people really like this circuit. I really like this circuit. Of all the modern Tilkery stuff, it's one of the better ones. And I think with the absence of Qatar from my thing, this east meets west city of Istanbul is kind of the gateway to get as close as we can to that Middle Eastern Grand Prix without actually having one. Like I said, we've got the week off for that one, so that one's going to be on March the 27th. We're easing into the season here, guys. No double headers to start with. So after the next week off, we're taking the weekend of the 3rd off of April, and we're going into the 10th of April. We're off to Portimao, the Algarve circuit, Portimao. I think we all love this circuit. Can't wait to see some huge crowds there in the future. And if Miguel Oliveira keeps going the way he's going, they're going to pull huge crowds. It's a quality piece of road. Yeah, and that's going to be on the 10th. And this is our first doubleheader. And we're going for the Iberian doubleheader. We're off to Jerez on the 17th of April. Now, we're going to Jerez. Like I've said, we're only doing one Grand Prix per country, which means there's no Aragon, there's no Valencia, and there's no Catalonia. It really was tough to split these. Everyone will have their preference with the Spanish circuits. I like all of them, to be honest, and I think they all probably deserve to be there in some way. I know Spain's a big market for MotoGP. We've ignored that because we're going to some other markets. We're trying to expand. I know they're guaranteed crowds, but we've decided to go with just one in Spain. Like I said, we're going for one everywhere. I went for Jerez for personal reasons, basically. I've been to Jerez and Catalonia before. I've never been to the other two in Spain, and this was my favourite of the two. And I like these two probably a little bit more than the other two anyway. I had a really good time at this Grand Prix, so that's why we're going there. It's a nice little town. It's a cool little city, and I liked it, so that's where we're going. We then have another week off before we head into another double header. We're off on the 1st of May to the wonderful, wonderful Mugello. And if you want to know how much I like Mugello, click the little, I'll put another video up here. Check that video out. It's a good video, but after you get to the end of this one, obviously. So Mugello, May the 1st, which means the second part of our double header, and this is where we really do go into parts unknown a little bit. On the 8th of May, we're off to Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. Now, this is just for me, it's one of those ones, I don't know if this circuit could potentially hold MotoGP as it is right now. I don't know if it is suitable, runoffs and things like that, safety and blah, blah, blah. But I figured it wouldn't take much to turn this into a MotoGP ready circuit. This is one I just think you've surely got to go here eventually, don't you? Does everybody want to see that? I feel like we do. If you're a MotoGP fan, you want to see them at Spa, don't you? I mean, it's premium. It's a premium circuit. Another week off after that one. So we've just had two double headers, a double header, a break, a double header. Now we're off to a single Grand Prix, and on the weekend of the 22nd of May, we are going to the we're finally going to the Kaimi Ring in Finland. I decided to keep this one on there, even though I've never seen a race there, obviously, because no one's raced there. We've never seen MotoGP there. But the circuit layout, from what I've seen, and I've watched a few onboards, and then just seeing it, people just playing it on the MotoGP game and stuff like that. It looks good. It looks like a good circuit. It looks like it's going to make for good racing. It looks like they probably would get a good atmosphere there. The Northern Europeans and the Scandies, they're crying out for some sort of international Grand Prix. F1 won't give it to them. MotoGP is going to give it to them. I know they get all their rally and stuff like that, but they're already experts at that. That's what they do. So we're going to give them some track racing. And then from there, mini break, 2-week breaks. We've got 2 weekends off because we're flying out to the Americas leg of the season. We're going to go to the 12th of June. We're back at Laguna Seca in California. I've decided to go with Laguna because I like it a lot more than Kota. Kota's great facilities. I'd really love to go to that Grand Prix in Austin. Austin looks like a cool city that I'd really love to visit. Probably more than going to this Grand Prix at Laguna. I'd probably rather go to Austin, but the circuit is the circuit. And I want it at Laguna Seca. The Kota's track just pisses me off, some of these modern things. It's a love it or hate it. Well, they'd say here Marmite in the UK, but I'd call it a Vegemite. But you'd love it or hate it. Actually, no, I wouldn't call it Vegemite because everybody loves Vegemite because it's the best. So, it's Marmite. You love it or you hate it. I don't like it. It's not for me. Second part of the Americas leg, this is a double header. We are going down to Argentina, to the Termas del Rio Hondo circuit. I considered, what's the other circuit's name, where superbikes go? I think this is better. I like this circuit. It's been a good Grand Prix. I like having it on the calendar, and we should be doing more into this region. And in saying that, I actually contradict myself here. That is it for the Americas leg. I don't have anything else. I wanted to get a Brazilian Grand Prix in really, really bad. This circuit that's been proposed, as far as I can tell at the moment, they've canned the construction of it, which is a shame. I mean, there was some deforestation issues and blah, blah, blah. But aside from that, having another circuit in Brazil where MotoGP could go to would have been very nice. I considered Interlagos. I don't think it can be easily modified to accommodate MotoGP. Looking at it, like I said, I'm no expert here. I'm just a hack on the couch, right? But that's the way I see it. That wall coming onto the last straight runs all, and there's a left-hander full speed. If you go down there, you're fucking dead, right? And I don't think it's one you can easily push back. A part of the atmosphere and what makes Interlagos great is that the fans are on top of you when you go down that straight. There's all grandstands there. I wouldn't even want to see them do that to accommodate MotoGP. I wouldn't even want to see them push that all the way back and put a gravel trap in there. So that's it for the Americas leg. And then on the 17th, we are back to Europe. We're off to the British Grand Prix. And I've taken it off Silverstone, guys. We're not going to Silverstone. We're going back to Donington. I love Donington. Just, it's a little bit shit, right? And it doesn't feel as professional, and the facilities aren't as good, and probably doesn't look as good on TV as Silverstone, and Silverstone's for F1, isn't it? Donington's for the bikes. MotoGP is Donington. The amount of great moments we've seen at Donington, it's got the history with the two wheels. Rossi's first win there. Even like the Scott Redding win when he won back in, it would have been 125s back then, possibly. You know, just crazy moments. I've seen some incredible racing there over the years. I'm missing out on some. I could list them all day. Donington's back on the menu. This is a double header as well. After Donington, we're off to Assen. Speaks for itself. Assen has to be there. Assen has to be there. It's a quality place, quality circuit. After that double header, another week off, and then we've got our only triple header of the season, and we're going on the 7th of August to France. On the 14th of August, we're going to Germany, and on the 21st of August, we're off to the Czech Republic again. Two of these are a little surprising. Now, the French Grand Prix on the 7th of August, we're not going to Le Mans. Harsh cut, I think, for me, but we're going to Magny-Cours. I just like it. I just think it's neato. By the way, I don't have issues with Le Mans. I know a lot of people do have issues with Le Mans, and I know that a lot of the riders have issues with Le Mans, and I don't know if it's something to do with, everyone just crashes into turn 3 a lot. I don't know what the deal is there. I don't know if there's some voodoo on that corner. I don't know. But I don't have an issue with it personally, but I just like Magny-Cours better as a racetrack. So that's where I would rather go. And then for the German Grand Prix, I've cut Sachsenring. And again, I really like Sachsenring, but I do understand that it feels a little bit small and go-karty, and that's what a lot of people are saying for these really powerful bikes now. I personally don't have an issue with that, but I also have circuits in Germany that I like better, and I'd rather see MotoGP go to. And I've picked the Nürburgring GP circuit. We're not going the Nordschleife, guys. It's fine. We're not on the big old Nordschleife for taking like a 12-minute lap, all right? We're not doing that. By the way, I don't know how long the lap on a bike would be. The Nürburgring GP circuit, I really like this circuit. I much prefer this over the new Hockenheim layout since they got rid of the old layout. I like this as my premium racetrack in Germany. So Nürburgring for me. And then Czech Republic, we're back to Brno. I know there's been issues, like a couple of riders complaining about the surface. I think Aleix was quite outspoken about it. But just resurface that shit. And we're going back because I adore this circuit. It's one of my favourites. One of my absolute favourite circuits for MotoGP. Just the big sweeping bends, the up and down, and the stadium section. It's my dream to go sit in the stadium section one day. So that's where we're going, because I'm going to go to this one. After that triple header, I've given us 2 weeks off, another 2 weekends off. Settle down, calm down, because the European leg of our very European-centric World Championship is over. We're done. We're not going back to Europe now. That's it. We're not going for a finale in Valencia. We're done. And then from Europe, we're going to a continent that must have a Grand Prix. And that is Africa. We're off to Kyalami in South Africa because I really want to go. I considered Welcome here because Welcome did host a Grand Prix, back in the early 2000s, and was the scene of one of my favourite Rossi victories of all time in 2004. But Kyalami looks like a much nicer complex, and I'd just rather go there, so that's what we're going to do. And then after Kyalami, obviously we've done the big shift from Europe down to Africa, and then we've got another big shift. We're all the way over to Southeast Asia now. And here's why Southeast Asia is important, guys, because this is the growth region for MotoGP. This is so important, I think. So the populations are so massive, and they are like another Spain when it comes to MotoGP. Everybody's obsessed with bikes, right? So we're going there. And our first port of call is the Chang International Circuit in Thailand. And I mean, this is just it's a decent circuit. I'm not blown away by it, to be honest. I don't know what the area around it is like, what Chang is like, or whatever the town is called there, or the city. I don't know what it's like. I've never been to Thailand, but Thailand looks like a wonderful place. And we'll go chill at the beach when we're not at the race. It's fine. Boom. This is a double header. The race after this one, we're off to Mandalika, which is the currently being built circuit in Indonesia, which is still apparently on the cards for Superbikes this year. We'll see. I'll be very keen to watch that. But from all I've seen, I've kept this on there. First of all, like I said, massive growth region. Has to have a Grand Prix. Has to, this country. And this is going to be the best circuit they have to offer, even though it's not even finished yet. And by the way, all the mock-ups, and I'll show some stuff on the screen now, the layout and all that stuff looks fantastic. I think it looks brilliant. Plus, again, another one that would be great to go to. Who's not going to want to chill down there? Spend a week there. Get there on the Friday, go to the race, chill for another week till the next Friday. You're right, just sit on the beach, do what you want. Have a coconut, fucking Mai Tai or some shit, I don't know. So that's where we're going. That's a double header, Thailand and Indonesia. Now, I do also am aware of there's some human displacement issues involved with the building of this circuit, I believe. That is unfortunate, but I'm going to look past it. Taking it on face value for what it is, I wish they built it somewhere else, but that's what we're going with. That's what we've got. A week off now, and we're flying to the greatest circuit in MotoGP. We're off to Phillip Island. This is a no-brainer. This is our penultimate round, 16th of October. We've got one more race after this, and I've put this second last for a reason, guys, because for a long time it is usually the second, third last race of the season, and I quite like going to my home Grand Prix and seeing guys get crowned world champion. It's a selfish decision by me. Saw Rossi get his first world championship crown to him there. I've seen guys like Melandri get world championships crowned there, things like that. I like it when you turn up to that race, some guy wins the race, boom, he's world champ, lock it in. I was there on the day. So Phillip Island is on the 16th. That's our penultimate round. That's where we crown a world champion, apparently. And then we've got another week off for our grand finale, and I think this place deserves it. It's a great circuit. It's the greatest Tilke circuit. The greatest Tilke circuit. And they always pull good crowds, and the weather can be unpredictable, and I'm hoping I haven't picked a shocking time of year for it, because it's the 30th of October. I don't know whether it's probably rainy season. I don't know. So we're going to Sepang. We're finishing the season. I think this circuit deserves it. I don't think anyone would begrudge it such an occasion. That's it. That's our calendar. That's 19 races. We're running from the 13th of March in Suzuka to the 30th of October in Sepang. We're going full circle. We've been around the world and we've come back. We've been to every continent bar Antarctica, I think. I mean, tell me what you think. I think this is a good balance of circuits. I think it's a good amount of time to have a season. It gives you good time off. There's a good amount of time between races. It's not too much of a good thing. You know, it then gives you all of November off, all of December off, all of January and February off. And I know that seems like a lot of time without racing, but when I was younger and the season was like 16 races and it would literally run mid-March to mid-October or whatever, it just made you want it more the next year. And I think that's what it's all about. You've got to want it. I don't want to see us finish in December and then be back in February. It's like school. You're like, oh my God, I'm back already. And that won't make sense to anyone who doesn't live in Australia. I don't know when your school year runs, but in Australia you run February to December. So that's why I said that. And that's it. I'm done. That's all from me. You can go on with your day. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. That is the Ultimate MotoGP calendar. I bet you can't beat mine because mine is fucking delightful. Good night.